Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon. Alexis Bellino goes to war with RHOC cast in reunion trailer. Alexis Bellino is bringing the drama as she goes to war with the cast in the RHOC reunion trailer. The season 18 reunion starts on Thursday, November 7th, and Alexis is leaving no stone unturned. She has a bone to pick with almost everyone and she is ready to start picking. Keep reading to see who she really goes at it with. Alexis Bellino is back on the reunion couches. The last RHOC reunion Alexis Bellino attended was in season 8, and she seemed to be on an island by herself. Her storyline was lackluster as she and her husband, Jim Bellino, opened a new business while trying to act happily married. She also maintained the ladies had bullied her, causing her to go on anti-anxiety meds. Alexis tried to make amends, but by the time the reunion came around, it was clear she was no longer needed. She left but was not forgotten. Alexis and Jim divorced, but he sued Tamra and Shannon Beater, costing them hundreds of thousands of dollars. No one missed Alexis, aka Jesus Jugs, until she began dating Shannon Beater's ex-boyfriend, John Jansen. Shannon had been with John for around 3 years after her divorce from David Beater. They split, and then he met Alexis by happenstance. At the same time, she reconnected with Tamra and Heather Dubrow, plus her dating John made for great television, so she returned for season 18. Unfortunately, all Alexis Bellino did was gush over and defend John, aka Johnny J. She also shared he had footage of Shannon nearly running over his daughter, and then he sued his ex for $75,000. John allegedly let Shannon borrow the money for a facelift, but she never paid him back. It broke Shannon, and she, along with some cast members and fans, felt John was blackmailing her by holding onto the footage. When the ladies went to London for Shannon's 6th death, Alexis was not invited, which hurt her. Now, the RHOC reunion is here and Alexis is back on the couch. She is not only lashing out at Shannon, but is also at war with the rest of the cast. A whole Alexis goes crazy on the women. When Alexis Bellino finally arrives at the RHOC reunion couch, she is ready to go. According to page 6, she goes right for Shannon Beater. She maintained that Shannon has been bitter because of the John Jansen romance. However, Shannon claimed never liked Alexis after the lawsuit her ex-husband filed against herself and Tamra Judge, which she believes Alexis was in on. Alexis says this to Shannon. The last time Shannon spoke out about the suit was on WWHL, and she claimed John would settle, but she had to release something positive about him. It is unclear if it is officially over and done. Yet Alexis is not done, as she and Emily Simpson soon go at it after Alexis refers to her former friend as Tweedledum. Emily rages, telling Alexis she will not call her dumb. In the dimly lit reunion set, Alexis Bellino took a deep breath as she waited behind the scenes. She prepared for this moment, armored in couture and seething with a confidence that even surprised her. The buzz among fans and tabloids was that this would be her most explosive return yet, and the reunion trailer that had already gone viral gave only a taste of the drama about to unfold. She thought back to when she'd left the Real Housewives of Orange County. Life had been complicated then, but it was nothing compared to the tangled web of issues she'd face upon her return. Old friendships were frayed, grudges had only deepened, and Alexis was now seen as an outsider trying to reclaim a place among women who no longer knew her. The set was as opulent as ever. Luxurious velvet sofas, glittering chandeliers, and the looming presence of Andy Cohen, who had a gleam in his eye that spoke of a night to remember. Alexis had mentally prepped herself, knowing this wouldn't be a mere stroll down memory lane. She could already see the cast members seated and waiting, arms crossed, lips pursed, ready to draw metaphorical swords. "Are you ready for them?" whispered one of the producers as she gave Alexis a reassuring smile. Alexis met her own reflection in the mirror one last time, exuding a calm that belied the storm raging within. "I've never been more ready," she replied, and with that, she stepped out onto the set. The trailer had teased her return with dramatic cuts, intense glares, whispered accusations, and one explosive scene where Alexis threw up her hands in frustration, exclaiming, "You think you know me, but you don't know a thing." But what the viewers hadn't seen yet was the simmering tension that had been building for weeks, months even, between Alexis and her former friends. As she settled into her designated spot, Alexis met the eyes of each cast member. Gina, with her icy glare, Emily, giving a tight-lipped smile, Shannon, who barely looked in her direction, and of course Tamra, whose raised eyebrows said everything without needing words. These were the faces of women who were no longer the women she remembered, and neither was she. Andy wasted no time in stirring the pot. "So Alexis, you're back. How does it feel to be sitting here again?" Alexis took a beat before answering, wanting her words to be measured yet piercing. "It's surreal, Andy. It's like coming back to a family reunion where half the family has decided they don't want you anymore." Tamra scoffed. "Oh please, Alexis, you're the one who walked away. You can't just come back and act like you didn't abandon us." That was the opening Alexis had been waiting for. She turned her gaze sharply toward Tamra. "Abandon you? Funny how you say that when you were the first person to twist the knife in my back." The trailer had hinted at tensions, but no one expected the immediate clash of these titans. Tamra leaned forward, her voice dripping with sarcasm. "Oh, give me a break. I didn't twist anything. You left because you couldn't handle the heat. You always wanted to be seen as the perfect little church girl, and when things got too real, you bolted." Alexis felt her pulse quicken, but she stayed composed. She wasn't here to fall back into old patterns. She was here to set the record straight. "I left to find some peace in my life. I didn't need all the negativity, Tamra. But you? You feed off of it." Andy interjected, sensing the intensity. "Tamra, Alexis, let's take a step back for a second. Alexis, a lot of people have wondered why you chose to come back, especially given the bad blood that's still so present." With a rueful smile, Alexis explained, "I came back to show a different side of me. I wanted to show that people can grow and change, and that we don't have to be defined by who we were years ago." Gina rolled her eyes. "But you act like none of us have changed. We've all grown too, Alexis. You're not the only one who's been through things." Alexis felt the words bubble up, words that had been buried for too long. "Maybe, Gina, but it's one thing to go through things and another to actually learn from them. I'm not here to pick fights. I'm here to face the ones that were left unresolved." Emily decided to jump in. "You know, Alexis, I don't doubt that you've changed, but you coming back has been really disruptive. The dynamics are different now, and not everyone is willing to give you a clean slate." Alexis met Emily's gaze and nodded. "I understand that, but I'm not asking for a clean slate. I just want honesty. And I think some of you have been holding onto grudges that should have died years ago." Shannon, who had been uncharacteristically quiet, finally spoke up. "Honestly, Alexis, I don't have a grudge. I just don't see the point in pretending everything's okay. We're different people now." "Exactly," Alexis replied, her voice steady. "So why can't we start over as those different people instead of dragging all this bitterness around? We can acknowledge our pasts without being ruled by them." Tamra, however, was not so easily convinced. "Starting over? Oh please. You wouldn't be back if you didn't want the drama. Don't act like you're above it all. You love it just as much as the rest of us." And there it was, the underlying accusation. Alexis clenched her jaw but decided to stand firm. "I'm not above it, Tamra, but I'm here to confront it head-on, not to tear people down for sport. There's a difference." The atmosphere grew thick with tension. It was as if all their years of pent-up emotions, unresolved fights, and buried resentments had been waiting for this very moment to erupt. The cameras panned from face to face, capturing every clench of the jaw, every flicker of anger, every unspoken insult. Andy, always the master of keeping things in motion, leaned forward. "So where do we go from here? Is there any way forward for this group, or are we just looking at a permanent war?" The silence that followed was charged, each woman calculating her next move. Alexis finally broke it. "I don't think we have to be at war, but it's going to take honesty, real honesty, and maybe a bit of forgiveness." Tamra rolled her eyes but didn't respond, her silence more telling than any words. The rest of the cast seemed to consider Alexis's words, their expressions ranging from skepticism to cautious optimism. As the trailer faded to black, viewers were left with a cliffhanger. Would these women find a way to reconcile, or was Alexis' return destined to reignite old feuds beyond repair? The reunion was poised to be a defining moment, not only for Alexis but for the entire cast. And as the screen dimmed, one thing was certain: the women of Orange County were about to deliver their most unforgettable season yet.